Joining me now from Ottawa is the former chairman of Performance Sports, Graham Houston, and does the latest earnings outlook strengthen your case, Graham, for a proxy battle or a takeover bid for the company? What do you think of that stock drop?
Well, I think the stock drop is alarming, and I think it's caused a lot of institutional investors and investors across the board a lot of concern as to how the company got into this situation and where do we go from here.
Well, in your mind, does it look, I mean, you said when you spoke to us a few weeks ago that it looked like a really great deal, the shares. Now what? I mean, now they look like a fire sale?
No, actually, I think in the long-term prospects of the company are terrific. I mean, it is a terrific brand. Bauer and Easton is a terrific brand. The core of the company, which is the employees, they're the best employees really in the industry, and they're top-notch. The long-term value proposition of the company is solid. I just think it's got the wrong leadership and the wrong strategy in the short term.
Now,
and I'm a long-term player.
Part of this strategy that they have that you don't like is the fact that they are going and opening up their own retail locations. So rather than just selling to the Canadian Tires of the world and so on, they're going to be opening up their own stores. You think that given the retail environment, that's one, probably not a great idea, and two, it annoys a lot of the customers, like a Canadian Tire or so on. You own shares in many of those customers as well, so you sort of have it from both sides. What are you hearing from other shareholders of Performance Sports right now?
Well, the shareholders are upset, but the retail partners, the top 10 retailers in North America, clearly, you know, there's been an 80-plus year relationship with the company of a supplier retailer type of relationship, which really has taken Bauer to where it was, number one in market share. And I think that the retailers are very confused and were very upset with the announcement that was made back in January of 2015 that now their suppliers was going to be a competitor. And so every retailer that I've spoken to, and I've conducted a survey, I hired Grant Thornton to do a survey of the retailers to find out what they think. And the company sent a letter to Grant Thornton asking them not to give me the results of the survey. However,
well,
the
and
retailers are very upset by it, and they're
You've also
voting.
been turned down for a seat on the board, which is something that you had requested. I'm curious how much the expansion into a new retail line for them or a new form of business, how much is it costing them? We've seen their profit expectations plummet. Part of that, they say, is due to a change in demand and so on, but there's also got to be expansion costs attached to that retail strategy.
Well, it's not the core competency of the company to be in the retail business. It never has been in 80-plus years. So whenever you start opening up retail stores and you've never done it before, there's all kinds of risk. And this is about risk mitigation. The board of directors is responsible for risk mitigation for the company. And going into this area where retailers are having a tough time of it, and to the point that you just made earlier, a big retailer in the United States has just declared bankruptcy. So is it really a good idea for Bauer to step outside of its normal?
Are you going to be buying up these shares at this price? You owned about 2% prior. Do you own more now? What's your next move?
Well, I'm not going to disclose what percentage I have at this particular time, but I believe the long-term future of this company is these shares are very, very low, and it's a great buying opportunity if you're a long-term player and if it's under new management.
But if you're the activist that will get in there and form a bit of a group around you, when are we going to see some of those next steps take place? When's the deal going to come together?
Well, right now I'm asking the board to, I sent them a letter this morning, and I'm asking them basically to hold an emergency meeting of the board. And there's an empty seat right now on the board, and I'd like to have that seat so that I can join them at the board, and we can work this out, and we can figure out how to turn this company and put it in the right direction. I'm asking them to, put their egos aside for a moment. There's one empty board seat. Let me go back on the board. Let me return as the chairman. Let's find a new CEO, and let's put this company back on track.
It sounds like they've said no to that, but I guess we'll have to wait and hear from the company what's next. Graham, thank you for joining us. That's